Hey there, tarot friends. I think this is working. My computer was not working, um, so I'm on Ryan's computer. But just let me know if you can see me and hear me because I usually have to use Firefox and I'm not on that right now. But if you can see me and hear me, then we're good and we will just go with this giant computer today. No different for you, but it's weirding me out. But just let me know. I see Jamie and Chris and Kim. And I'm going to pull this up on YouTube as well, just since I'm having issues. But if you can see me and hear me, oh, there's my face. Okay, that's good. And a voice. And my gray hair, you can see. It's beautiful. I actually don't mind it. I just don't like when they poke out of my head. Okay, lovely. Thanks, friends. Oh my gosh. I'm used to my little baby laptop. I like really little laptops for some reason. And this thing is really overwhelming to me, but it's okay. Oh, thank goodness for Ryan. I was having such a good, smooth, easy morning. And then I just couldn't get to StreamYard on my computer. It said we can't reach this site or whatever. And I realized though, so yesterday on Jilly's chat, you'll notice my little cabinet over here was blacked out. And I didn't have time to figure out with her what was going on. I didn't even mention it because we were working on other stuff, just making sure I could see the chat and YouTube and everything like that, and going over the deck that I was going to show, which I didn't even show the deck. I showed the book. I didn't even show one single card. So I don't know, kind of had a couple idiot moments yesterday. But I didn't have the little slider all the way open on my laptop, and that I never close it, but it probably happened because I was teaching yesterday morning and then Ryan brought all my stuff up. And so between the two of us moving my laptop up and downstairs, we probably slid the little thing. So that's what was happening. Oh my God, you guys, please tell me when I'm being an idiot. I just don't know what my deal is. But anyway, hello, Sandra and Simon and Jackie and Lori. Oh, I'm just kind of getting settled. I had technical difficulties, so I'm just babbling about that. The room is totally blue. So yeah, how are you all doing? Sip, sip. This laptop is weirding me out. I don't know. It's giant. It's a blue room. Okay, so I've got stuff just everywhere. Oh, someone's saying hi, Nancy, but oh, there you are. Hi, Nancy. Okay, that's enough deep breaths, right? So I don't have our card ready or anything like that, but I'm going to get it ready right now. So this is just our second week. Basically, we're going to be going through the Kim Cran's Archetypes deck and probably not doing just one card a week, probably doing a little more than that. Last week, we went into the Mother is the first in the book, but we also worked or just kind of glanced at the Maiden and the Crone. So it's going to be that some of them draw in other cards because the creator put some of these into trifectas. And so I figure just when we come across one of those, we'll also pull in those related cards. But then later down the line, when we get to the Maiden, then I think we will dive into that a little more and then still mention the Mother and the Crone, right? Because it's a different conversation. So that's kind of my plan. We'll just sort of casually, like I like to do everything, kind of go through and see where we land with things. So let's see, there's 7 of you in here, and I think I know everybody in here. So I also decided to create a Facebook group for this. And so far, the only people I invited in are people that either expressed an interest in this series or were here last week that I know, like that I'm Facebook friends with you or that I know. So if I'm not Facebook friends with you, find me. And if you want to join the group, you can. I am going to keep it exclusive-ish for now. It's a private hidden group, and I just kind of want it to be, for us at this point. And it can be for other things. It doesn't have to just be archetype related, but yeah, just a place for whatever. But I think it's going to be, smallish at first. Nancy, I do think I found you. I don't think we're friends on Facebook, but I think I found you like in my suggestions. So I almost was going to send you a friend request and then put you in the group as well. So if you want me to do that, let me know. But yeah, I just want it to be a small frenzy thing. So that's it. I'm being exclusive, but only I just need to know. I'm just past the point in my life of like dealing with people that sounds really terrible. I am really consciously choosing who's in there because that's what I want the space to be. Yeah, Chris, that would be fine. Any of you that are here right now are fine to be in it. I feel weird saying that, but do you know what I mean? It's just going to be, we're just going to kind of grow it as it goes. Just a little space. I know there are lots of tarot groups, and if you're sick of being in them, please don't worry. There's no obligation. It's just another little thing for, me to share random stuff that doesn't really belong in other places or whatever. Okay. Babble. Yes, organically. And, I'm not going to mention names, but someone that was like friends with some of you as well, friended me a couple weeks ago. And then I saw on their page a post that like made my stomach turn. And so I cancel culture. I'm like, oh, you don't have the option to share it. Maybe because it's hidden. But that's okay. Thank you for looking into that, Chris. But I will find you. I know Nancy and Ginger. We're friends, right, Ginger? So anyway, but yeah, it was no problem, Sandra. I just like, it wasn't a huge deal. It was just a political person who makes me want to vomit. And it was like a positive post about like, we miss you. And I was like, oh shit, I just can't. I'm not in that place anymore. Bye. So that's all. Let me start kind of flipping through. So today, oh, there's our psycho cat. I'm sorry, kitty. I don't mean to call you mean names. So I'm going to flip through and find our card because I'm not even ready to that point. Oh, there's the father. Did I maybe do that last week? Or no, it just happened to be there, I think. All right, we'll go with that. So, I don't know if Diane is here. Simon, yeah. And I have room in my mind and my heart for a lot of different opinions and beliefs. I really do. But we're at a point and a place where promotion of certain people is not okay with me. And so like, that's cool. If I don't even know who this person is, like in a chat, like I can guess, but I'm not really certain. And we can chat, and I will be totally fine with you, but like, you just can't come to my hidden group. So that's all. If you want to be in the group, Deanne takes all kinds of bribes, including tarot decks, crystals, etc. Oh my gosh, no, I do not do not need that. Oh, Sandra has an unboxing that she did this morning. I need to catch up on some things. What am I rambling about? Just stuff. So, as with most things that we do around here, we're just kind of going through together. I really, how about wine? I love wine, but no, you don't need to send me anything. Diane, I don't think is in here right now, but she sent me, okay, remember how she said last week, okay, dear Libra self, choose one path. Okay. What we are here to do is discuss one at a time, or maybe a few at a time as we get going. One at a time right now, because I talk so much. We're 11 minutes and we've not seen the card. So what the plan is to go through one or more cards per week and just think about the archetype, think about if it's prevalent in our life or not, if we feel warm, fuzzy thoughts about the archetype, or if we feel cold, disconnected thoughts about it. Have we studied that archetype before or not? What does it make us think of? Things like that. You're free to share your experiences or not. We can talk about it. Now I'm laughing at Chris and I can't think. We can talk about it in terms of your life or theoretically or whatever. You can feel free to share as much or little as you want. Of course, this is a live stream that stays up, but if you come across something that you want to share, and this is another reason I wanted the privacy of the group to be what it is. If you think of something later that you want to add, that's kind of what spurred the group, the creation of that group. So like right after we ended last week, I thought, oh, I should have said this. And so there's always going to be more. So feel free to just, post things there. And then it's more private than here in this live stream, obviously, that other people may watch back later. So exploring the cards together, plus deciding the colors that you want me to make the back. So I'm going to mod the back either like toward the end of the stream or after, and then I can post it in the group. So I need to go back and write down, because I thought I'll remember, but I remember Kristen and a couple other people suggested colors for the 3 cards last week, and I hadn't done them yet because I couldn't decide what sort of thing to use on the back. But Diane then said, I have some pens I would like to send you that I think would work for that. So I thought she meant she was going to send me like some from her stash, right? She's an artist. And I thought, oh, there she is. Diane, hello. I hope it's okay that I'm sharing that you sent me some things. I think it is because you mentioned it in the chat last week. So I thought she was going to send me some pens from her stash to see if they worked okay. She sent me brand new 2 full sets of pens and this case. And it's really cool. And I don't know if I can reach it. So hold on. Oh, and thanks again to my husband because he saved the day. Oh my God, I can't do it. All right, leggings of the day. They're my little cassette tapes, which you've already seen, but that's okay. See? It's like total 80s vibe, little cassette tapes. Can you tell? Okay. Oh, she said hi. Yes, mine were dried up. Okay. Oh, here's my shirt too. My friend Michaela is an artist and she has a store on Depop. And look at that. That's her design. Isn't that awesome? She's awesome. Past student of mine. I mentored her for her first solo that she ever did. And she's just a really awesome person. Okay, Regina and Jilly, hello, hello. Okay, so look at this cool case that Diane sent me. Wow. And it like folds down and does something cool, and it's blue and gray, like my heart. Like these are my heart colors. If you mix these together, it's like the color of my wedding gown. Look, it's like she knows me. Yeah, Jilly, it would. Okay, so she sent me these really cool pens. So now I have something to color the backs with, which again, I haven't done yet, but just wanted to share this. And like these came in a separate, so they're like slightly different kinds. So anyway, now we have colors to play with, and I can color the backs and show you how they turn out. Sandra, that is the way. Oh, what did she say? This is so fast. Okay. It was, but she had to go right in between my legs. What is happening? Oh, Ryan's computer doesn't click. That's nice. Do, 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 do. One of my cats did that to me this morning. Oh, I just had to crawl. Okay. I just had one of my dogs crawl under the covers with me. My cat does that occasionally. She usually stays on top, but she does like to burrow sometimes. Yeah, and then you're all contorted to however the animal wants to be. Kristen, hello, hello. Oh, that was Ryan again. Did you hear him, Chris? Okay. Oh, let's take another sip. God, I wear myself out. That's good. Okay. Father card. Hey, we're doing a thing. Those of you just coming in, don't worry. I just got done rambling. Oh, no problem, Jilly. Thanks for listening. Okay. Oh, was that so fun with Jilly yesterday, you guys? That was great. It was like the perfect time because it's getting nicer out. And so Max and Ryan were at the park, though they came back a little earlier than they wanted because other people showed up and were just, again, being really careful. But anyway, it was just so nice. I felt like extra relaxed. Yeah, Ginger, grab another cup. I'm on my first cup, but it's more than half gone. But that's okay. Okay, so are you ready for the big unveiling? It was a great spread. Oh, good. Oh, one more note about that. So I wanted to give credit on that post, which I still haven't done, but I looked up. So, and I remembered the person's name is Celtic Roots Tarot, that Elaine. And I searched in the cave and found it. And it's called like Pulse Check with Aces or something like that. There was a hashtag. And I still couldn't tell if she created it or if she found it in a book or something. And evidently, not that we had to do it the same way, but because I modeled it after that, in Elaine's version, you shuffle your deck and then you flip over one at a time. And every time you find an ace, you take the next card that was behind it or under it, right? So that's evidently what was supposed to happen. But again, it works because our intentions were as they were, right? It's whatever. But if you want to try it again in a month or something and give yourself another, pulse check, to steal that phrasing, that is what we were apparently supposed to do. But I liked kind of visualizing and thinking about, for me and for us, because I made you all do it that way. We were looking at that energy and then drawing for it. So either way, but I do really like those kinds of spreads like that too, Ginger, where you flip through and find it, because I do Lenormand stuff like that. Kim, hi. The Facebook group, I think you'll have to be friends with me, but that's fine. It is called Blue Crescent Tarot Room, and it'll be for further discussion about this series, and then I'm planning to leave it up just for whatever we do after that. But I would love to have you there. I did a little spiel at the beginning about how it's going to be sort of it's a private hidden group and I want to keep it, among friends and people I know. So that's fine. And I know you and you're great. And please find me and I will send you the invite. So, so that's a little note on the spread from yesterday, just so you know. And now we're moving on to the Father card. Let me just show it. So here we go. Oh, I also cut off my claws. See, my nails are all gone now. Very welcome, Kim. I loved seeing that picture of you and Jen, by the way. It was just such a vibrant photo. So here's this beautiful card. And we have Roman numeral 2 at the top. Just love it. So let's read. I've got my planner like right in the middle of life, but I guess that's okay. Okay. It is a beautiful photo, isn't it? Gerald, hello, hello. So let's find. Oh. I also think each week I'll go through a little bit more of, oh, bye, Lori. Have a good day. No sorries. Have a good day. I also think we'll do a little bit of the intro as we go along. Everything in this book is a gem. So that's how I feel. And I think we'll just kind of go through that way a little bit, and I'll give you a little bit more of the context. But if you have questions as we go, let me know. Someone last week mentioned like the absent hero. Maybe it was Regina. Or is that right? And I think we'll read that part today. Ooh, Simon's back with a latte. Here, I'll show you the card because that's all that you've missed content-wise because I'm still just talking. Thanks for being here. Simon, I have something for you that arrived here at my house yesterday, and so I'm going to message you later. It's in my car, but I got you a little something, and I'm going to tie it to a little toy sailboat and send it across the pond, just like I did with other treasures, and we'll see if it gets there. Ooh, Jamie worked on journal pages last night, and they were all trees or ocean waves. Yeah, I love this card too. Okay. The Father. The keywords are the Great Father, the masculine, the protector, right? So just like with last week, it doesn't have to be literal mother energy. This doesn't have to be literal father energy. It can extend into these other areas. So the margin notes say, read poems about the Father. Sharon Olds' His Stillness, William Blake's Little Boy Lost. The right margin says, become a student of this masculine energy. Watch the Father in movies, in Shakespeare plays. See the Father as a pattern, not as personal. See, like, why is that so deep? Just that. I love Kim Kranz. Oh. I'll be at Skegness in May. I'll sit by the shoreline hand. That's beautiful. I love that. Oh my gosh, he crushed the beans and added cinnamon. Simon is like opening a shop over there. Tarot and coffee shop. God, would that be amazing? Talk about the shoreline. Don't you want to have a little like cottage by the sea and then either like attached to that or like down the road, you could have your tarot shop? That'd be amazing. I'd probably move. Okay. See the Father as a pattern, not as personal. Okay, I can't get over that. I don't know if I can get over that. Okay. When light, supportive, strategic, regal, kind authority. When dark, disappearing, disappointing, devastated by failures. Go deeper. Saturn devouring his sun by 60th, Peter Paul Rubens and Francisco Goya. Okay, so Tangy song, Simon by the Sea. Tarot Cafe, how awesome would that be? Yeah. If Simon did that, I'd move too, right? Like, I just feel like that's game over. Bye, everyone I know in real life. Not really, but maybe. I don't know. Oh, a single card reading when they hand you your order. That's cool. There's a restaurant around here, and independently owned, where they have like the table markers or tarot cards. So that's not quite a reading, but you know, you could make it one. Okay, so here we go for the main reading, and I'm going to hold it together. Okay. Alongside the mother, the father resides in the central axis of the archetypal family. The father embodies both light and dark aspects of the masculine. Thus, he is infinitely dynamic and complex. His energy is strong and regal, embodying such virtues as honesty, wisdom, and loyalty. Yet, ironically and simultaneously, the father is often absent, literally or emotionally. Through absence or action, the father eventually reveals that he is neither a king nor a god, but a human being with many flaws and wounds. He is both the guardian and the one who leaves us to the wolves. Here, yet gone, the champion and the failure. The father can never resolve or escape this duality. It is inherent in the archetype itself. Witnessing the father's limitations allows the child to grow beyond the family and into the world. Okay, so let's just think about that for a moment. So some deep stuff, like there was for me with the mother card, more as seeing myself as a mother. And those were some other things I was thinking about last week. I'm really in that phase right now. So I was making it a lot about me. And then after the live stream ended, I was thinking about my mom and my grandmother and things like that. Whereas here, I'm more thinking about my dad than I am thinking about Ryan as a father, right? But there's some of it in here that's making me think of that. But this mostly, to me, makes me think of my father, which is probably because my father is maybe a more emphasized example of the duality that she's talking about here. Whereas I can see it being true and relating to Ryan, it's not on quite the same level, or maybe it's just in different ways. And so for me, I'm definitely more tied up in struggling through what the father archetype means for me and my dad than I am with Ryan and Max. But maybe that's because I'm in it, right? So it's interesting to me to think about how last week I was more focused on myself because I'm in it. But this week I'm more focused on my parent, even though I'm in this with Ryan and Max. You see what I'm saying? It's just like the awareness of the self. Like I'm not as worried about them, even though I think those things, some of those things are still present. I think it's much more emphasized with my dad, right? So that's my big takeaway in this moment. Nancy says profound. Yeah, I really think it is. Jamie says me too. Kristen, I don't have a healthy experience with a father, so my conceptualizing of the father archetype takes some contemplating and abstraction. See, and we're all going to have these different, right? Like this thing's really prevalent in my life. This thing is really not. So thinking about plays and movies and art or people you know, right? A lot of times I think about different family dynamics of my friends, like when we were growing up and you'd go to a friend's house and you see how their family worked. And I'm not having tears today. But you see other people and you're thinking like, why, right? When you're a kid, why is their life like this? Or how do they have that, right? So there's a scale, right? Some of this, when I first read, I thought, well, there's no escaping it. Like I know some really good dads, and I love my dad. Let me put this on the record. He had a very complicated upbringing. He had an abusive upbringing, and while I feel mostly distant from my dad, whenever we're together, I don't know how to say it because he's my hero, even though things were not ideal. Like there's very little he could do to shake me, right? He is very open about how much he loves me, and that whole protector vibe, like that's always there. So I don't know if I'm painting the picture very well, but I have a very good relationship with my father, but there's this distance. There are just certain ways in which there is distance. Chris said, do you think about how you embody aspects of the father archetype with Max? I'm a believer that we all embody both masculine and feminine archetypes, even if we identify as only one or the other of these. No, even if we identify as only one or neither of these. And yes, I do, Chris. Actually, I was thinking about this yesterday. So yes, I'm speaking about this awareness as like I'm the mom and Ryan's the dad and whatever. And last week, Chris was talking about how his parents, he felt, were both equally split, which I think is just so awesome. And I know some other families like that. That's part of what when I saw other families, I was like, that's cool. You know what I mean? Just that, so my parents were divorced when I was in second grade. And I don't think that there would have been a great time for that to happen. But at that time, especially, I mean, I was like 7 and my brother was 4. And so there's this, I would have been sad no matter what, but I was still babyish and like, I shouldn't say that. I was very grown up for a kid, but I always have these like tender emotions, right? And I was devastated. So it's, I do think about that because my first thought though goes to my mom, as she was mom and dad in this role. We saw my dad every other weekend, but I mean, the day in and the day out, that was my mom. She was out making money. I mean, she worked prior to that, but she was the disciplinarian. We set up, like when I was pregnant and everything like that, we talked about, we're not going to be that family that says, oh, wait until your father gets home. Like if anything, I'm probably more the bad guy, which like relates to the father archetype, right? So yes, to answer your question, I do. But thank you for the reminder because, like I said, I was thinking about you yesterday and some parenting chats we've had before. Chris gives great parenting advice, by the way. So that's what I was thinking about yesterday. There's my babbling. Sandra says, I had a great relationship with my dad, more so as I got older. Jamie says, my dad is a very military man, a very controlling man. I am a free spirit, and that was a tough thing for me. He is 79, and we still don't see eye to eye. Nancy says, my father was a very complex man. I was dearly loved by him, adored, really, but he expected so much of me always. It was hard to measure up to his expectations. Kelvin the rescue bird likes your voice, Deanne. He's calling out, hi, Kelvin. Oh my gosh. Hi, Kelvin. Hi, baby. You know what? I used to go to this pet store. The person that I was in a relationship with in like late high school to early college, he had like these exotic fish. And we would go to the pet store to get things to feed these exotic fish and to buy more fish. And I, while he was talking about fish tanks and everything, would wander around and I would go talk to the birds. And I can't think what it's called, African something maybe. And it's like gray and it has like a little bit of a green tail, like just like tucked under, like the little back part of it was either like green or blue. But my favorite one had a green tail. And I would go talk to him when I was in the pet store, and I just loved that bird so much. And I think about that bird at the pet store. Anyway, that's my story about a bird, though I'm kind of like afraid of birds a little bit. Like if I think about like having one and like handling it and stuff, I feel like afraid of its like claws and its beak. Like I don't feel like I can do that. Nancy said, I loved him unconditionally and learned much from his wounds in his earlier life. He always said his life began when he met my mother. That's beautiful. African gray. Oh, yeah. I loved that bird so much. And now being friends with Jamie and seeing her post about birds, like I've been thinking about that bird again. Hi, Rochelle, my Michigan friend. Calvin's former owner was a soprano opera singer. I play arias for him and he sings. That is so awesome. Kristen says, those who attended the One Sit With Me where I talked about the end of my dad's character arc, understand my complex relationship to my dad, don't need to get into it now. It's totally up to you, Kristen, what you share or don't. It is totally fine. But yeah, my dad feels like magic to me. I feel so much of our Native American heritage. That's through my dad's side. When I think about my dad, I think about like being outside, like in the summer. It's been over a year since I've seen him because he was not really like abiding by a lockdown really this whole time. And so we've not been able to get together, but there's no disrespect about it. He's not guilting me into coming to see him or anything. He's totally understands. So like, that's a really good example of that distance that has just been a repeated thing. He loves me a ton. When I think about my dad, I think about in the spring and summer when we go to my aunt and uncle's house, and they actually live, it's a different house on that property, but that was my first house where I was born. I mean, I wasn't born in the house, but that's the first home I went to. And so that yard, they have an acre lot, and I love that I'm still able to go there. And like, that was I don't have memories there because we moved when I was 2, but even when I was little, my aunt that lives there now, they lived in the same house for probably about 10 years. And so when I went back there, I knew that was my house when I was a baby. And so it still felt like really homey to me. And I loved being there, and I love that they still live there. And now, so that's my dad's brother and his wife. And hopefully this summer we can get over there and hang out. But I think about hanging out in the backyard and listening to classic rock and just like sitting there and talking or not. Like my dad's pretty like silent, stoic type, but also isn't afraid to say, I love you. Like he, so the bond is there and it's really deep, but there's just always this like block, right? It's never fully, I don't know how to explain it, but those are the things that come up when I think about my dad. Rochelle says, I didn't really have much relationship with my dad. My mom was mom and dad to us. When my dad passed away, I grieved the father I never really had. And that's so rough too, right? It's that thinking about, again, comparing to other people or comparing to positive archetypes that you know of. It's that wishing and thinking like, why weren't we like that, Yeah. And when Jamie was talking about, her dad's military, and I think it's generational, and I think sometimes some military people are still like that. Ryan is actually ex-special forces, and so he's very military in some regards, but he's also I think Ryan is a very blended, like what I would call like masculine and feminine, like very, he will openly cry when he hears a classical piece that he loves. He will, he's a musician, he's an artist, he's so connected in that way. So I think he has this like really good balance of things. So this morning when I was about to lose it, for example, I probably told Max to stop throwing magnets at the board 7 times, I think, like really nicely. And we didn't stop for a little timeout break because I was trying to help Ryan make breakfast. So I probably asked nicely like 7 times. And then I turned around to pour my coffee and that magnet smacked the board again. And I just, I turned around and marched over there and I was like, give me this, and like took all the stuff. And Ryan gently walks over and says, Max, could you come find a quiet toy that we could play with? Could you show me what kind of toys would be quiet options right now? And I'm just like, mm-hmm. So, there's a working example. My husband is awesome, Kristen. He really is. Rochelle says, I'm okay, it was years ago, but I was surprised I grieved it all. Very understandable. Gerald says, I'm the youngest of 12. Oh my gosh. So my father was working a lot. His interests were different than mine. I'm sometimes jealous of the relationship he had with my older brothers. Our relationship got better as we both got older. Yeah, that I can hardly imagine that. I mean, I can't fully, obviously, because that, like the dynamic and that you were the youngest. I mean, I just trying to imagine like a day in that life. And then you seeing those relationships with older brothers, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, hello, Antoinette. Welcome, welcome. Yes, Nancy, he really is a great partner. So yeah, that is the little write-up about the father and the card. So when I think I was starting to say when I first read this, that I was a little irritated because I thought, why does she say that you can't escape it? Because it made me feel like there was no positivity to it, but that's just my shadow, right? And the same thing happened partially when I read the mother description, right? I was like, shut up, Kim Kranz, I'm going to be a great mom, right? But it's not about that. It's not about, so however distinct or foggy the connection is to the archetype, like some of that is still there, right? And even I would say father energies, male or female, that that go through life's challenges are going to feel that way sometime. They're going to feel that they're more absent from their family or more connected to the family or whatever, right? Some father energies may never get divorced from their partner and may always be present in the home, but maybe they are constantly in the garage, Ryan often will talk about people at work and say, these guys at work just talk about, oh, I can't wait to get home and for the weekend. And Ryan will say something about like, oh, hanging out, with your wife or your family or whatever. And they're like, no, hiding out in the garage, like just the whole time. So there's like, excuse me, there's definitely this idea. I don't have water. I'm going to have to chug this. Hold on. So a father or a mother energy could be present, but not really present is what I'm trying to get at, right? Anyway. Rochelle says, my dad was in prison when I was younger, and then he also suffered from mental illness, and I didn't feel safe around him as an adult or to have him around my children. That's really rough, and we have some of that going on with my husband's family. The mental illness or the potential mental illness not really being diagnosed or addressed or anything like that. So at this point, we're just sort of getting to that stage where we will have to be setting some boundaries. And that's so rough. But you know, you have to do what you have to do. Antoinette says, I don't understand relationships like that. Yeah, and we don't either. We're like, why are you with the person or still with the person or whatever? It's just like I've mentioned before, like, oh, Ryan's out in the garage working on his stuff, like that. And I think that's valid. And I think guys and girls and everyone need their alone time and time to do their thing. But to tell someone, I can't wait to get home and like hide out. And this wasn't like, I'm not saying I would never say something like that, but it's a different, you know, I might say, oh, I can't wait to get home and hide out in my tarot room. Like I've literally hidden in here before. But I don't mean that I'm literally going to sit in here all weekend and not talk to my family. And that's what some people mean. Do you know what I'm saying? My father suffered from paranoid schizophrenia. Oh, I'm sorry, Rochelle. When you were talking about that, actually, I was thinking about a friend of mine who, one of my mentors, who, I just want to keep this not super telly, that she was the second wife, and the first wife suffered from paranoid schizophrenia, and she had to keep, as the stepmother, she had to keep the children safe from their mom. Like she said, the one time I let them go play outside by themselves, they came back screaming 20 minutes later and said, my mom's out there. So they knew that she'd been out there like stalking the house and just waiting for the kids to come out. So like, just as an example of, that's the lens that some people are living in, right? Those are things that some people really have to think about. Chris says, my garage is my study with all my tarot stuff. Yeah. And you know, Ryan is someone who is super mechanical and has 5 million tools, and he works out in the garage. He has a milling machine. He's building a guitar these days. Like that's what he's working on in the garage. He has a music studio in the basement, and that was part of us getting this house was, you know, to have our own special spaces. That I have a tarot room that is just for that, and that he has a music studio that's just for that. So we definitely value that, but it's, you know, it's a balance, and it's very different than like I'm hiding from my family. It's really weird. Let me see. What's the deal with grown men who spend a significant amount of time gaming too? Where do they find time to be a family member? I can forgive the need for downtime and de-stress. Yeah, I think like with anything, it's just about a balance. I've been with gamers. I think actually right as we speak, I think I hear video games out in the other room. But Max is sitting out there with them, and he's not, like I used to live with about like 8 to 10 people, and all of them or most of them played World of Warcraft, and some of them had jobs and like went and did other things. And some of them would occasionally go to class, and then they would just play WoW the rest of the day. So, but that was a phase of their life, where they weren't, a family man or whatever. So again, I think it's just all about balance and prioritizing what's important to you. And if, it's just whatever. I think definitely some people are too deep into that, just like they're too deep into other things where you're ignoring like real life. That's definitely over the line. Little known fact, I used to play heavy metal guitar. It was metallic purple. Look at you, Ginger Faye. Oh yeah, hearing voices that would tell him things to do. Schizophrenia is really one of the most fascinating and terrible things, I think, that we have, right? It's really terrible. Sorry if I missed anything. Mental health issues are difficult if the person is not diagnosed or treated. Yeah. And the people that we're really the person that we're dealing with would never go talk to anyone or even entertain that idea. Chris says, my other half is a gamer. That's just his thing. My thing is tarot. His is gaming. Yeah. Like we play video games. We played Mario Kart last night, but that's just like a little thing, right? We all have our fun thing, our passion thing, whatever that is. My daughter plays guitar, so does her boyfriend. I took lessons when I was a teenager. However, my fingers are so short, it wasn't easy reaching some notes. I've tried a tiny little bit, I've known Ryan for a long time. He tried to show me a little bit way back when, and then he tried to show me again when we got together a few years ago, but I guess it was 7. We celebrated 7 years together the other day. But yeah, I'm not great at that. I'm like, okay, you play guitar and I will make the choreography or dance. Really. I'd really like someone else to do the choreography and I will just dance it. So, 10:56 here. Oh, Sandra says she used to love Mario Kart. Jamie says Steven is also a gamer. Rochelle says, my dad was diagnosed and on medication, but he was also a drinker, which didn't help him at all. He ended up marrying his therapist, actually, hence my 2 half-sisters. Oh my gosh, Rochelle. Yeah, that's not helpful, is it? Yeah, the people in my life that we are going to have to deal with about the whole mental health issues, they would never say that there was a mental health issue that needed to be explored. So, ever. It's just difficult all around, isn't it? Stephen is 9.5 years younger than I am. His generation is the gaming generation for sure. Yeah, there's definitely these waves, I think, right? A sordid story. It's okay, Rochelle. I think most people have at least a little bit of that in their life where you're thinking, what happened? So, closing thoughts about the father archetype or anything else you would like to share? I don't have to rush off, but I thought maybe I would be really adult and keep this to an hour. Oh, colors. Colors for the father card. Rochelle, I see that you say it's like a crime book. And in my mind, I read comic book. So that lets you know, not to say that that's funny, but that's what my brain read. Because that's how I feel sometimes about those aspects, but it's not funny. What did I do with my Diane pens? Here they are. The last game I played was Sonic the Hedgehog, circa 1994. That's amazing. We didn't have Sonic, but my cousins had it. The house where that I was talking about earlier. So I would play that. Is there a triad equivalent to maiden, mother, crone involving the father? No, there's not. Very good question. Oh, I was going to read the bit about the heroes just so we can kind of pick through the intro stuff as we go. Or maybe just like the general, like her definition of archetype. No, there is not a triad there. Let me see what the next one is. I'm getting like drawn into other stuff. It's so amazing. I think it tells me in the beginning. So for anyone that was not here last week, Simon, one of Sandy's earliest photos I've seen is him playing Sonic. I think it was before he could walk. That's cute. Oh, blue, royal blue. People are suggesting colors. Sorry, I keep associating these cards to tarot, so I relate this to the magician, like manifestation. That is beautiful. Yes, we can always bring it back to tarot. Our journey makes us stronger if we allow it. I very much agree with that. My husband is a wonderful father, says Rochelle, and was exactly the opposite of what I had been attracted to and went against my father issues when I met him. We should invent a masculine triad if there isn't one. Yes, let's do it. I'm curious to hear people's thoughts on masculine and feminine energy. Lots of people push back or reject the idea of such things. Kristen, that would be the high priestess. And that's what I was going to say because it's Roman numeral 2. But I mean, you could make it anything, right? So there are 78 oracle cards here. And I mentioned last week that I love that idea just so I can pair them up with things. But they don't always have to be the same. I think it would be cool to do like a side-by-side flip through with like a traditional deck and just see what comes up in number order. But then I also think it would be cool to associate them to whatever you want. Right? Kim says was not here last week. We'll watch the video. So yeah, Antoinette, I don't know if I'm going to answer this very articulately. So I don't push back or reject the idea of feminine or masculine energy. Those are things that exist. But I think that there is fluidity, like Chris was mentioning earlier to me. Do I view myself as a father archetype in my son's life? And really even in just governing myself, right? I think about these things too. So I push back on the idea that there has to be a set thing for a set person. But I don't push back on the idea that there are masculine and feminine energies at play, just that they don't have to fit into containers, basically. The wee man, the big man, and the old man. Yeah, let me see real quick. So another reason I love this is, bye Gerald, thank you so much. We're going to finish up here in a moment, but I did want to go over the fact that this deck is split into the selves, the places, the tools, and the initiations. And in my tarot tools trio VR to Brian Cormac Carr, I use one of the spreads in here as one of my 3 favorites in and just sort of the concept of it. But I do love this one in particular where you split the deck into those 4 suits, so to speak. And then you draw from those to answer the 4 prompts. So it's really cool that way. I love oracle decks that have a suit structure just so that I can split it apart and play with it like that. Okay, so here we are at the sacred pairs and trifectas. So the mother and the father is considered a sacred pair. The crone and the shaman is another sacred pair. The creator, the sustainer, the destroyer is one of the trifectas. The maiden, the mother, and the crone, which we touched on last week. And that's it. So I'm all about making a trifecta or triad for the father. So that's something we can talk about in the group if we want to. If you have ideas about that, please feel free to add those. And let me just read the part. I know I mentioned the hero bit earlier about how there's not hero and heroine in here. But I think this will be a good piece for us to close on. So we'll talk about, this is just part of her intro. Archetypes versus stereotypes. Archetypes live in the big, beautiful cosmos swirling with potential. Stereotypes live in a small box with a tight lid. Let's imagine we pass someone on the street. When we stereotype, we reduce them. We make assumptions, limit, judge, assess, decide. We misunderstand their complexity. We think we know their story. Most devastatingly, we deem ourselves as separate. No need to listen, no need to learn. This is done unconsciously out of fear. With stereotypes comes the pain of contraction. If, however, we relate to this person archetypally, we become curious. We see coexisting potentials within them. We see their struggle and their shine. We realize they are unknowable and multi-layered. We begin to relate, reveal, heal, connect. We see ourselves in them and them in us. All this can happen within a split second without their knowing. With archetypes come the freedom of expansion. Everything belongs. So there's that. The lad, the papa, the wise man. I assume Jung would say archetypes come from the collective unconscious and stereotypes the ego. Where is Justin when you need him? Justin actually commented on the week 1 video last night, and I responded to him and put him in the group, or invited him to the group. So I have told him that we would love for him to come hang out. I have done a deep dive study of archetypes. I don't mean this to be self-deprecating, but I used to be really smart. I was like in school all the time and have a graduate degree, and I have been in and out of archetypes, but it has been so long that I feel like it's not gone, but I'm not like in the thick of it like I was. And that's kind of what I want by the end of this book. I feel like maybe I'll be kind of approaching that again, and I would love that. So bye, Jilly. Thank you so much. Sandra says maybe sage for the older male. That would be awesome. I miss the kind of energy of being in grad school. Yeah, Kristen. So that's one of my goals. This is a lot, for myself to kind of get back into that study mode, even though right now I'm just kind of babbling about things. I'm hoping to kind of just keep walking deeper into it. So thank you all so much. I think I saw like blue and royal blue for the color of this. And I remember Kristen talking about pink and green last time. So I'll go back and we will start working on colors, and I will color these probably tomorrow on my first work break, and post those in the group. So yeah, that's that. Thank you all for sharing your experiences and chatting with me. Really, really love you all being here. Yeah, Simon, I think so. I didn't even pay attention to the chat, and I know you left and then came back with your latte. So I don't know if you were here when I said that I have something to send to you. So I'm going to message you in a little bit, but treasures came to my house for you and me yesterday. So, okay. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. If you think of other thoughts, go ahead and put them in the group. Nancy, if you're still here, I'm going to come find you and put you in the group. If you want to be in the group, just find me and add me as a friend so I can add you. But it's a private thing that we're just kind of keeping among friends right now. So Oh, yes, 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 yes. Simon, I remember now. Okay. Yes, because I'm going to tie it to a toy boat, but okay. All right, kids. Thank you so much. I love you a lot, and I will talk to you soon.